What's up, y'all? We are back. This is episode 21 of of the National Stampede Out of the Park Baseball 24 series, and just wrapped up the playoffs. Cooled down a little bit after a disappointing end to the season, of course, but we had a season score of 680, which is much better than last year. I think we were like in the 500s, maybe 400s, but yeah, a disappointing end to the season, obviously, but we're gonna hopefully bounce back. The reason I was so disappointed is because I know we're losing a lot of guys this season. Luis Angel Acuna has been at the team for, the last 3.5 seasons. We're going to be losing him. I doubt we'll bring him back. We kind of have some guys I think we can replace him for cheap. Obviously, Jaime Melendez, who's been a really good starter for us for the last 2.5 seasons. He'll be on his way out as well. I'm guessing he wants a massive deal. That's not unreasonable, but the 35 stamina is going to scare me away from any further extensions from him. And then Gage Workman, who we got, we've had him for 3 seasons. He's only played probably 2 seasons worth of games at this point. And he's been good when he's out there, but he's very injury prone at this point. It's not an unreasonable contract. Maybe we'll look at that. But he's really a second base only guy, and we really just need a shortstop out here. So I think he'll probably be on his way out, but it's not impossible we bring him back at that price. And then McLean, who was just brutally bad for us. That was a horrible trade, although we didn't give up anything to get him. Although Cantorino wound up pitching really well for, Baltimore and then Minnesota. I wonder if they just released him. They did. That stuff always happens in this game. And then Jace Young, who we traded for. We didn't give up a ton. I mean, George Lombard's a nice player, but he didn't do much for San Fran. I didn't expect him to do a ton for us. I didn't expect him to do a ton for us. And Young was really good when he was with our team. He wants a pretty big extension. That's probably not going to happen at the current state of our team. Then Edison Barger, who played some big games for us this season and played pretty well. We just had some guys come in and replace him. But if he wants a reasonable extension, I wouldn't be against bringing him. Yeah, I wouldn't be against bringing him back at that price. He has made an all-star team. That was in 2025. Let me just check. Yeah, he had a really good year in 2025, but it's kind of middled off as like a league average hitter with a solid glove at third. But yeah, that's probably a guy we're going to look to move on. And then a ton of minor league free agents, which I'll have to go through and offer guys I want to keep. But yeah, what a disappointing year. Second in runs scored, first in runs against, finished 94 and 68, up 2-0 in the NLDS, and blew a 2-0 lead to the Colorado Rockies, who wound up losing in the next round, which I don't know if that makes things better or what, but the Mets wound up winning in 5 games against the A's, who bested the Rockies in the NL. The Mets have a good team. They've been pretty solid throughout the save, I think. Really good pitching staff and pretty good hitting as well. So yeah, it doesn't really mean a ton for us, but yeah, we're going through arbitration. Drew Hackenberg doesn't. Wow, that's a low. Yeah, I mean, we'll obviously bring him back at that price. He was awesome for us this season. By far his best year of his career, and I mentioned it, but after a rough start to his career, he wasn't great, he wasn't bad, but he just never really got a shot until the last 2 years. But he's evolved into like a really good, solid number 3 or 4 starter for us. So definitely bring him back at the 1.7 price point. It's totally reasonable, even a little bit lower. He is 28, probably going to be 29 when the season starts. So that's something to monitor. But Logan Henderson has had the big injuries. We'll probably non-tender him. He was a fine pitcher when he was here, but we can get cheaper options at this point. And then Jose Soriano, despite blowing that game, he was really good for us all season. He's probably worth bringing back at $2.6 million. Edgar Nieto will be on his way out for 4.4 is just way too much for a backup catcher. Max Clark, has regressed a ton since we drafted him. It's a fascinating story with him because in 2028 he was like a future like all-star, perennial all-star player, and then just randomly in 2029 just fell off before the beginning of the season. His contact went from a 65 to a 55, and his eye went down. Everything went down pretty much besides maybe a void K's. But yeah, We took him in the first round in 2026. Gave us a couple good years. He'll be back next season at that price, but he's probably not long for this team at this point. He is a great defender, so that saves him. But then Robert Hassel, $2.2 million for a backup outfielder. Probably gonna non-tender him. Maybe we'll see if we could trade Nieto or Hassel or any of these guys, but yeah, at this point, probably not going to happen. Melendez, so the qualifying offer is 18.9. I don't think it's gone up. That's weird. Usually it flies up. But I'm going to offer him the qualifying offer. Pretty sure he won't take it. Yep, we should be good. Acuna probably would, and then Workman probably he shouldn't. And even if he did, I think I'd be cool bringing him back for a 1-year deal. So, those are no-brainers. Tanner Houck we're also losing. Low-key was, really good and doesn't want a ton of money, so probably smart to bring him back on that cheap extension. Maybe a 1-year deal worth $2 million. Seems to be a fair number. He's really good. He's a really good player and so undervalued in this game. So we've been able to keep him around for most of the save. But yeah, looking at the lineup, we're going to have a lot of turnover this season. So Workman will be out most likely. Young will be out. And then, it's Acuna will be out as well. He wasn't really a huge factor down the stretch, but still something to monitor. So that's going to push... Jaden Stroman can play short. I don't know if I want him there particularly. He performed fine over there, but I'd much rather have him at second. Grady Emerson could be fine at third, I think. At least as a placeholder. Maybe we pick someone up this offseason. Then Aiden Harris I also want. He'll probably be more of a DH, so maybe we slot him at DH, and then Carter Smith's much more of a utility type, I think. He could play some outfield. He can play some infield. So I kind of see him in the super utility role, kind of starting for a lot of these guys. And then, it's kind of how I think that's going to look. We'll also have PJ Morlando. He'll play a role on the team. Harrington as well. Pretty much everyone on the 40 should be back. We're actually going to go through really quick. Players that we don't really want. Palante, he's out of options. Not really good enough pitcher to justify keeping around, so we're going to let him go. He's already set to expire after the season. And then Aiden Knack has fallen off ratings-wise. He had a really good showing last year in the majors. Did not make it up to the majors this season. Just due to poor performance kind of in the minors. So, former second-round pick. He has a couple option years, but I don't know. Maybe we'll keep him around. He's a good leader. I guess there's worse people to have making the minimum. But Austin Jerger, hasn't played a big factor on our team the last couple of years. Has played well in the minors and when he's up in the majors for the most part. But Morlando's kind of taken that spot, the lefty DH first base type. So maybe we'll look to trade him. Oh, also, updating on my boy Grant McRae. Had a really bad year, but played good defense in center field. That has a ton of value. So the Red Sox are actually getting a pretty good deal. They're probably paying him $20 million. It's not the best deal in the world, but they're getting a really good center fielder who just really can't hit and hasn't been able to hit since really his second full year in the majors. A gross contract. That was such a mistake, but I haven't made a ton of those in my OOTP career. Dax Fulton is a guy the Marlins are looking to trade. I know he's on a pretty cheap deal. It's not unreasonable. They might just be looking to shed some salary. I don't know if he's a starter. Fastball, slider, changeup. The changeup's more of a so-so pitch. Let's get a scouting report on him. Maybe he's a guy we look to target to fill that rotation spot that Melendez is going to leave. But yeah, Jerger has a ton of value. A lot of these on bad contracts, but we're kind of in position to take on some money. A good closer would kind of be really nice, although not at that price point. Also, this guy, Young Pyo Ko, the Mariners are just ready to get rid of. I was so close to trading for him last season. But the thing that scared me about him was he's a sidearmer who doesn't throw very hard. I've had some bad luck with the side armors, and he kind of just scared me away for that reason, I guess. But didn't have a great year, but also if the Mariners don't non-tender him, or even if they do, he's a guy we look to target. Stephen Tarpley is apparently developed into a good player. Marco Luciano, I'm guessing, makes a ton of money. If we can get them to eat some of that money, I wouldn't be opposed to bringing him in as well. So yeah, I think that'll probably be our plan of attack. Unless there's a really good free agent out there, we can look to take on some bigger contracts and have them eat some money for good players, of course. But I'm not going to trade Jurger yet. Might look around, see if we can get any prospects. Yeah, so okay. So he might have some value, but it's going to be, in a salary dump from another team. So I'm going to go through, offer some contracts to these people, and we'll come back and kind of update on a more solidified plan after just looking at this team really quickly and kind of coming up with that on the fly. So we'll be back in just a second. All right, so let's go through Gold Glove. We'll go through all the awards live. So Grant McCray did win a Gold Glove in center field. Good for him. He deserves it. But in the NL, we didn't have a single Gold Glove, probably because I moved Kira to right field and Clark to center field like halfway through the year. Reliever of the year, we have Garrido in the AL. Hell of a player. And then in the NL, Chris Mangold, who's dealing with a injury at the moment. And then Martin Blanco finished third. Really well deserved. He had a good season. That's all for that. We go to Silver Sluggers as Tanner Houck got extended. Man, this guy had a heck of a year. Holy crap. Yeah, a couple names there in the AL, and then in the NL, Jack Ruckert, old Minnesota Twins friend. Wow, he went right from A-ball to MLB. Yeah, I actually have I'm making a list of like an OOTP wish list for next year, and it's to stop crap like this. Like 2 years in rookie ball, 2 years in A-ball, and straight to the majors for a full season. It just makes no sense. So that's one of the things on my list. And then Kira wins in center field. Not his best year, but a good season nonetheless for him. And then this Antunia guy, who I was looking at trading for in the 2029 trade deadline. He wins a Silver Slugger at third base. No other guys for us there. Top rookies. Jack Ruckert wins in the NL, and none of our guys make the top four. Not surprising. Then the Rockies coach wins the Coach of the Year, Manager of the Year, and then Robbie Hotkinson wins AL Cy Young. In the NL, Alton Davis continues to dominate this award. He's won 3 in a row, I believe. 2028, 2029, 2030. Yep. He's a heck of a pitcher. They have not extended him yet, although he's down with the shoulder inflammation. That could play an impact on his development. That's unfortunate. But Emilio Marquez gets 6 first place votes. Really good season for him. Davis just pitched more innings, so good for him. Melendez finishes 5th, and no other guys for us. I would like to see Hackenberg get a couple of votes, but not terribly surprising. Bryce Bush wins AL MVP. Pretty good season from him. A really good season with the bat. Just not a good defender. And then in the NL, Jack Ruckert wins NL MVP. 5.3 WAR. A really good offensive season, but he plays first base, so his value is limited WAR-wise. Kira finishes 2nd. Antunia finishes 3rd. Who led the league in WAR? Batter WAR. I guess it doesn't tell you unless you're a pitcher. I guess it was Emilio Marquez led the league in WAR. Finishes down the ballot just a little bit. Kira did steal 7 first-place votes from Ruckert. Arguably should have won, but, Ruckert had a good year. And then Jaime Melendez gets a couple of votes as well for MVP. So there you go. That's how we're looking for awards. I looked around at Max Clark's value, and it's pretty high. So he could be a guy we look to move just because, if we're going to have Kira in center, like, I would like a more hitting. I want a good hitter in right field if we're going to go this route with him, which it looks like we're going to. So, Clark has value, and I think we can get a good prospect or MLB ready player for him. So, it's kind of a waste to have him out in right field for us, is kind of my point. So, yeah, I mean, it's nice to have a good defensive outfield, but it's not necessary. And Molinak can fill in at center if we need him to. So, yeah, we're gonna probably look into a trade for Clark. His value is probably not the highest it's ever been, but it's better late than never, or waiting on these guys, kind of like we did with McRae, where his value absolutely tanked after a couple bad years. So Workman and Melendez both declined the qualifying offer, and we'll go to free agency here. Also, before I forget, I'm actually going to sign an international free agent this year. Hopefully, I remember to check on February 1st, because I haven't done that, and it doesn't pop up here, which is how I look at kind of the schedule for everything. So, yeah, I want to go to international guys. And let's pick out a couple guys we like. So this pitcher is pretty good. Good pitch mix. We can throw him on the training. First baseman, I'm not a huge fan of those type of guys. This guy's a nice player. Can play some third base. Zalava, kind of the same story. Probably more of a first base type, if we're being honest, but still worth throwing a flyer at. This guy could be a good corner outfielder. None of these guys want huge demands, so that's also good. His defense is a little worse and not quite the bat. Herrera's a little expensive, just a reliever. Julian Mendoza's a heck of a player. He wants a lot of money, though, so that's unlikely. Patino has good speed, pretty decent defense. We can throw him an offer, although he wants a lot. This guy only wants $200,000. Good first baseman. We can throw him an offer. First base defense is negligible, but it's still good to have a guy over there. This guy's a catcher, but he doesn't want a ton of money. Not really a catcher, though. Throw him an offer, then maybe we have 2 more slots on our training, so we'll do, this guy's a good defender. Not a bad bat, only wants $200,000. And Ortega, he looks like he doesn't want a ton, and same story, doesn't want a ton of money. So there we go. We'll go to free agency now. Oops, I just said today. That was not on purpose. All right, so looking at, wow, this is a heck of a class. Oh my God, this is one of the best free agency classes I've seen. Okay, so this is a lot to look at. So let's go to what are our needs? So a shortstop would be great. I am not confident we're going to get a better one than like Stroman out there, but we can look anyway. And then in the rotation, I honestly wouldn't mind rolling out these 5 guys. And, Tanner Houck's here too. He's probably like a swingman type this year. But I'm kind of cool with our rotation. It's cheap, minus Marquez. And, Lodolo is a guy we could look to trade. He's making $10 million on the last year of his deal. Not a horrible number for him, but he's coming off like a really rough end to the year for him. So maybe we upgrade the bullpen too, because we've kind of been rolling out, middling guys, and it hasn't worked in the playoffs. So maybe that's the route we go, and kind of not punt on shortstop, but yeah, I mean, there's some good players here. Trout's old, but still a really good player at age 39. Looks like this is one of his better outcomes in the save. I mean, he's been hurt quite a bit, but still an insanely productive hitter. He's up to 110 career WAR, all with the Angels. He wants a ton of money, though, so you can forget that. Brett Beatty, guy we almost traded for. Not almost traded for, but we were looking at the deadline. Riley Green, honestly not opposed to this. Although he's 30, he's fragile. I don't know. Jesus Velez looks like a guy who is an international guy. Good bat, but I don't know if we need a first baseman. Corbin Carroll, not a great defender out in the outfield. Nagano, one of my favorite Japanese last names. Ninja Warrior legend. Last name was Nagano. I don't know what his first name was, but Should remember that name. Pete Crow Armstrong, kind of the same build as Max Clark type, glove first outfielder. Jace Young still doesn't want a ton of money. Not opposed to bringing him back, but for a second baseman, I don't know if we go that route. Bobby Witt's here. Good defender at short. Doesn't quite have the range I look for, but that's way too big of a contract. CJ Abrams, just a second baseman. Gage Workman's out here. He wants a lot of money. So, yeah, I mean, Vaughn Grissom, he's not really a shortstop in this save. He's had some saves where he works out to like a 75 range infielder. Not this one. Willie Adames could be a good glove first guy. Doesn't want a ton of money. But it's like, where were our deficiencies? Our defense was good. We were second in zone rate and eighth in errors. Like, that's definitely acceptable. The pitching was good. The offense was good. It was just, maybe it was just the bullpen. I mean, we're losing a couple big bats, but I don't know. Bo Naylor's out here. We can go down that route again. But besides that, like, there's nothing really out here worth spending big bucks on. So maybe we go to the trade market and kind of look around at that in that area. Let's go to pitchers really quick. So a ton of good relievers. Like, we can build our bullpen with $24 million. Gavin Hollowell, a guy I've been wanting to get, but just hasn't worked out. He wants $15 mil. That might be worth it. Devin Williams a little older. Andres Munoz, yeah. So like, any of these four guys up here would be awesome gets. Christian Charlie, a little bit younger, only 30. Coming off a bad year, only wants $7 million. That's probably a route we'll go down. Bubba Chandler for the rotation. The stamina is not bad. 3-pitch guy, fragile. A lot of bust potential with that. Max Mayer, who famously never wants a lot of money when free agency hits for him. Carlos Rodon apparently is still a good pitcher. He's wrecked. That could be a high-risk play. Paul Skeens, I mean, 60 stamina. I don't know if we have this in our budget. Probably not, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm going to go off camera, look at some trades, look at some free agents, make some offers, and come back and update in just a minute. Okay, so I have this trade lined up. I might talk myself out of it as I go through, but so Max Clark, we kind of talked about it. Light hitting outfielder, but he's not going to play center field for me. So his value is like diminished pretty badly. He's making 3.4, only going to go up in the future. I don't know if that estimate is right, but anyway, yeah, he has 2 years left to control. Yeah, I think 2 more years. That makes sense. So maybe 3. I'm not sure, but let's actually see what they might say. 3 on here, but oh yeah, so 2 more after this. Although I don't know. Anyway, he has a couple years left to control. Really good defensive outfielder. I would keep him on any other team where I didn't have 2 guys who could play center field already and one who plays it better. So he's going to be pushed to right field. And Ryan Gallagher and Tyler Locklear, just a couple throw-ins. But we're going to pick up Ronald Acuna. Despite being at age 32, going to be 33 when the year starts. Still a really good player. The defense isn't quite there anymore, but he still has good speed. Still 20 bags last year, and still a good hitter. Career WRC plus of 134, has put up very good numbers through the last few years. So I'm not worried about a decline of any sort immediately. We do have him for 2 years. He's making 24 mil. We'll be paying him 18. But I think this gives us a way better option on offense than Clark was giving. And, right field's he'll probably play left field for me, but left field's a position where you need some offense, and Clark was not providing that at this point. He had some promise when he first came up, but that's kind of all been undone the last couple of years with the ratings drops, and it makes sense to give him up now while his value's still high. So we're gonna pick up Acuna. Probably be my leadoff hitter, maybe a 2-hitter. I'm not sure. Could even hit cleanup. I don't know. We'll see how the lineup fills out this year. But, yeah, I mean, he's still put up good numbers the last few years in Milwaukee. And, yeah, he's just a really good player, I think, to throw in our lineup and give us a little more offense when the postseason comes and we need it. So I'm going to pull the trigger on that. Yeah, they're not happy that we got rid of Clark, but they have some interest in Acuna, our fans. So, that's tough to go with Clark. He was our first-round pick. He was a really good player, but, yeah, again, that's kind of all been undone the last few seasons. So he'll slot into left probably to start the year. His defense is more valuable in right field than left field, so Molinak's will move over to right. He's got the arm to play there for sure. And then Acuna will be in left. Maybe he'll DH. I don't know. We'll see how the rest of the offseason kind of plays out. But we do have Eddie Els, who I'm super excited for. Our 4th-round pick last season. And, I was shocked to get him in the 4th round when it happened. And he's flown through the minors already. He'll start the year in AAA. Probably going to be up before the All-Star break if things go south for us. We also have another DH candidate, Se-Wong Nam, who is a minor league free agent signing way back in 2023. Has kind of just chilled out in high A for a little bit and then broke out last season. Called him up to Double A. He'll start the year in AAA, a DH candidate. We have some other interesting names down here. This guy, Chris Grimm, I like. He was a 3rd-round pick in 2027. He made it up to Double A last season. David Ramirez still somehow around. I did re-sign him to a minor league contract. We'll see if he ever makes the majors. Not looking likely at this point, but yeah, this farm system's not looking great right now, but I think it's better than whatever they have as 28th. Because, they have Jeremy Hall down here. I think he can be a really good player if he develops. They have, Jaden Stroman outside of the top 100, top 200. I think he's a good player. So, I don't think all things are negative right now, but we do need a shortstop. Maybe it goes Stroman, and then we put Harrington at second. I kind of forgot about him, but he's a nice player. So maybe this will be our infield to start the year. It'd be 3 rookies, and then Correa, who's, only in his 3rd year. So I think this is how we're going to roll into the year. Is Talon Bell even a 2-way player? Why is he... Yeah, I'm all set. I don't think we need to have him as a 2-way guy. Where the heck is the button for this? Okay, my manager is taking over control of that, so that's why he changed into that. Whatever. And yeah, the pitching staff looks fine. We're going to upgrade the bullpen a little bit. That did take away some of our available money. We're now down to $9 million. I can open up some space for sure, but yeah, we'll have to monitor this, and we'll keep moving forward. Come back and update in just a second. All right, so we have a move to announce. I think I'm going to do. So, get rid of these. Aesthetically unpleasing. So, basically, our team kind of needs a shortstop, and I've been mentioning that, and the Pirates and Edwin Arroyo was up for trade. Really good defender. Did get hurt a bit of last year, but still a league average hitter at worst. And a really good defender at short. Making a ton of money on the last year of his deal. So Pirates are going to eat half of it. Or 55%, I should say. And we're going to give them Steve Hajar, who they really liked. And he has a good amount of trade value. And I get it. He could be a starter on a lot of teams, I think. But he's kind of just a reliever for me. And he wasn't even on my postseason roster. So I'm cool giving him up. Then Ronnie Henriquez, I'm throwing him in. He just had a couple, I guess... Last year was his worst year, but, I think for $4 million, I think we can kind of replace him in a way. We probably won't get 100% of Henriquez, but we can get a good portion of his production. Last year he wasn't even that good. We have a couple throw-ins here. These guys are really nothing. Colomenares, he was a guy in AAA who didn't do much. Isaiah Drake's a career minor leaguer, and then Colin Burgess, minor league catching prospect. So, yeah, we'll pick up Arroyo. He's a guy who always does really well in OOTP, and I try to avoid trading for these guys that have lower value when the year starts and when the save starts. So, our budget's going to drop by $15 million doing this, but the reason we're able to do this is that our amateurs are ready to sign, and I'm ready to make an offer. But Yeah, our owner raised our budget $14 million just today, so we have the room to do this now. And Arroyo is up for trade. I also want to maybe I can get a little signing pool bonus. Maybe 250,000. Yeah, maybe not. That's fine. Yeah, I don't really want to give him any more prospects. So yeah, we get a year of Arroyo, and we'll see what we do after that. Sure, but yeah, good placeholder. We're not giving up too much, kind of spare parts, but I mean they're good spare parts, but they're spare parts nonetheless. So yeah, we're gonna go through with this. So yeah, they're not happy that we let Henriquez go, but they do like that we got Arroyo, so that's good. And we'll add him to the roster. So where does that leave us roster wise? So that'll push Stroman probably to second. Harrington can move in like a reserve role. So maybe we'll roll with Smith and Stroman as our utility guys off the bench, and then we'll have Stroman at second, and then throw Arroyo over at short. And man, that extends this lineup a lot. This lineup's looking pretty dangerous. Probably the best one we've tried it out there. As long as these young guys start doing things. But even if Stroman doesn't hit, even if Emerson doesn't hit, like we have Smith and we have Harrington here. And we drafted this guy, Eric Kennedy, in the Rule 5 draft. I kind of needed an outfielder, so I expect him to make the roster. But if he has a bad spring, he's not guaranteed to. But he did hit really well last year for Arizona. I don't know why he was available in the Rule 5 draft, but he's 26 years old, so he fit my criteria of guys I'm allowed to take. So I took a chance on him. So our bullpen's a little thin. We did sign Christian Charl, who as mentioned I was interested in. 2-year, $6 million deal with a $6 million option, $2 million buyout. So really, it's a 1-year, $8 million, or a 2-year, $12 million, which is a pretty good price for a good reliever. So let's go to international signing, and let's run this practice really quick, and then we can jump in. So we go to international amateurs, and we'll kind of have our pick of the litter here. So we stand with $5.2 million to spend. I really like this pitcher, and he's pretty well developed for a 16-year-old. I don't think he's a absolute zeroed out prospect. Guerva I like as well. Darlan is good, but his defense is questionable. Zavala, same story. And then Mendoza is a good corner outfield type. This guy only wants $900,000. I think this is a smart move. Pitchers, they could flame out pretty quickly, but let's offer him that might have been too many zeros. That's okay. 1.8. We'll offer him double what he wants. Let's see him a couple days. See if he gets back to us or if he signs. Okay, so he's Milwaukee's gonna drive the price to $3.2 million. So something tells me we're gonna wind up using our entire budget on him. But we'll offer him 3.6. See where that gets us. And he favors our offer at the moment. And let's see what happens. It's been a couple days. Looks like he signed. I didn't see anything regardless, but yeah, perfect. So we get a good 16-year-old prospect. He's, the control's an issue current, but the stuff and movement might be good enough to carry him. I might throw him in our minor league complex. I think he's enough developed that he can hold his own in rookie ball. This doesn't mean a ton, but yeah, maybe I'll decide that when the season starts. But okay, let's go see, because we're gonna have a little bit more money to spend. Let's see what else. So we have 1.6 left. So that can get us some of these cheaper guys that we're looking at. Arcilla, who I liked. This shortstop I definitely liked. So let's throw him an offer. He doesn't want too much. Let's throw him $200,000. See what he thinks. And then we'll wait on him. And someone drove up the offer. It was Houston, so still not unreasonable. Let's do a $400,000. He's 18 years old, so he can actually make an impact probably pretty soon. He likes our offer, and let's see. Also, I should talk about some league moves, because, oh my god, 600,000. That's still fine. Yeah, so the Angels really loaded up this offseason. Let's go look at their team. So they made like some of the biggest signings like immediately in the year. So they brought back Mike Trout, 2-year deal, pretty cheap for what he gives. They also signed Gage Workman, former shortstop of ours, and then they went out and got Paul Skeens, the best pitcher on the market. So they made a lot of big moves. They're in our conference, or I guess conference. I'm not sure what the official term is for baseball, but yeah, Angels made a lot of big moves. They signed some of the big fish in this really good free agent class. So they keep driving up the price here. Let's go up to 750. And I mean, if we don't have enough money to spend him to get him, that's fine. We can spend it elsewhere. I think I have a good feeling. Yeah, so we did sign, so that's cool. Probably gonna keep him down there, although he's gonna be 19, so maybe I just give him a shot. Maybe I'll wait until the beginning of the season on that. Okay, so we have a little bit more money to spend. Let's see if we can pick any more like cheap guys here. We have 880,000. So Arcila's had his price driven up. We'll go 660,000. See what happens. No news back yet, and we do get Arcila. A scouting report update. That's not good. Marquez gets a little bit better. Lopez, that's not good. Diaz improves, which is good. He's out of options, so we'll have to make a decision on him. And then Milt Allman, this is a big one. So stuff improves, movement improves, control drops. That's potential control, too. Yeah, he gets to be a good pitcher, I think. The control might be a problem, but at worst, he's a reliever. And I think his stuff would play up in the bullpen. Aiden Harris had a little defensive improvement. Grady Emerson went down. So this is the guy. Is this the guy we just signed? Oh, no, he's a scout and discovery. So he's 17, going to be 18 when the season starts. Let's throw him in our minor league. On our minor league team. And who is this? This is another scout and discovery last season. Or I guess right at the beginning of the year. He's pretty freaking good already, so he's 16 though. We'll wait on him. And then Aguilar, another scout and discovery, another guy in our complex. What happened to Mullinax? His overall rating just dropped for some reason. Okay, that's fine. So spring's about to start, and do we have any more money to spend in internationals? 220,000. You have to be able to snatch someone. Who's this for 140? Leal. This guy's got a lot of pitches. It's possible he works out. Let's throw him the rest of our money. We'll just roll the dice on this guy. Never a bad thing to have too many arms down in the minors and in the complex. So now we're at spring training. I'm gonna jump off and set our roster and probably pick up at opening day here. So we'll be back. All right, so we're here at opening day, and we've been able to kind of get by without any serious injuries, but this year we had a couple. So Tanner Houck out for the year. So unfortunate. I was really excited for him. UCL rupture, so he'll have Tommy John. Will not return this season, most likely, unless some kind of something crazy happens. But that was not it. Robbie Watkins, our top pitching prospect, just in a spring start, tore his elbow ligament. So he'll be out for the year, losing a key year of development after, his ratings went up too. And that's really disappointing, but hopefully he can bounce back and be the same guy. We also add 2 prospects into the top 100. We now rank 26th, but Luis Moreno, who is in our complex, Scout and Discovery this offseason, he slots in at number 48, and then Azako Bellarmine. We'll stick with that. And then he slots in at number 86. He was our big international guy we signed. We got this guy as a minor league free agent at the start of the offseason. Siguri Iri. And yeah, he slots in at number 99. Had a decent spring. Well, actually, no, he didn't. He was pretty bad. but just had a good start in AAA. So maybe he'll be up with the team. He could slot into the rotation. And then Johnny Colburn, another guy who's just outside the top 100. He had a bad spring. He'll start the year in AA. He hasn't had a ton of time to develop down there, so but he's pretty his time is coming pretty soon, so he'll be around. And then Eddie Els, our 4th round pick last season, man, he's turned into a heck of a prospect. I don't know how the heck he's outside the top 100, but yeah, he's kind of crushed minor league pitching. I have him in AAA to start the year, and hasn't done much already, but they played 2 games for some reason, and yeah, we'll see what he can do. But yeah, he'll be up with the team when we need a dude. Bob Long, unfortunately, lost some pitching upside this most recent update of our scouting. You can see he went from 60 stuff potential to 50, 65 movement to 60, and then 60 control to 55. So could still be a decent pitcher, but definitely not the guy we drafted in the first round last season. But as a hitter, still looks decent as well. So although I think he did lose some hitting as well. He lost 10 contact, 5 power, and 5 eye. So disappointing out of him. Then I guess Zayed Amazon, after a disappointing year in A-ball, where I don't think he hit that poorly, but he was just probably overmatched at that level. I might have rushed him there, but he got a little scouting boost. Plus 5 power, plus 5 eye. Could be the future of catcher. We'll see. Other guys, Zach Hughes got a little bit of current rating upgrade, and then Becerra get anything? Becerra's up to a 40 contact. That's cool. I actually put him in A-ball at this point. I think he's ready for that. So, boom, there we go. That's the prospect overview, really quick going through. So, the guys who made the roster, we should probably get to that. So, our rotation will go Marquez, Hackenberg, Lodolo, Almond, and Bishop. Bishop pitched really well in the spring. He had a bad start here to end it, but he was good besides that. And then Matt Almond is fine. He kind of is here, he wasn't going to lose the spot, basically. And then Lodolo, Hackenberg, and Marquez, of course, will slot into our first 3 spots. His stamina went down to a 40. That's not good. We got him on a pretty decent deal, so hopefully it doesn't go any lower. But yeah, the bullpen will be Charles, our closer, and then Blanco set up again. I don't want to boost his arbitration estimates too high. But maybe he'll start closing at some point this year. We'll see. Then we have Miguel Diaz, who was with the team in 2029 for a little bit. Didn't make the majors last year, but he was out of options, and he makes the team here. Jose Soriano, the guy who blew the playoff game, he's here. He'll be back for year 3 with the team, right? Yeah, year 4, sorry. Brilliant Marquez, the guy we got in a trade with Philly. What was that trade? It was for Jack Hurley, who is currently on their AA team. Interesting. But he makes the team. Angel Civilli, I think he's out of options anyway, but he was going to make the squad. And then Angel Lopez, our last middle reliever, had a rough spring, end of the spring, but he's a good pitcher, and he was a pretty key piece of the bullpen last year. And then Sam Simpson was the last guy to make it. He was in a competition with a couple different guys. I'll get to them in a second, but he had a really good spring, and he's 28 at this point and hasn't really gotten a shot, so I'm going to give it to him here. The guys he was up against, first of all, PJ Morlando didn't make the team. He had a rough spring. A guy we can call it pretty quick, but this guy, Alex Kranzler, minor league free agent signing last offseason. He must have got a big boost. I guess this is all as a starter, but yeah, moved him to the bullpen, and this could be a pretty good arm for us. So he was the last guy. He had an awesome spring. He was the last guy cut. Talon Belt also had a good spring. It's not going to show his stats here, but yeah, he had a good spring, and he's getting old, so we'll probably give him a chance pretty soon. And then I guess that's about it. Jared Simpson was another guy I liked and had a good spring that I wanted to put on the roster, but just didn't have the space this time, so yeah, that's it. The lineup, it's pretty pretty locked in a couple spots. Obviously, Rushman, Correa are at catcher and first, and then Arroyo at short, Acuna, Kira, Molinex in the outfield, and then this was kind of a hosh-posh of guys. Some of them played well, some of them didn't. So one of the big springs was big heroes of the spring was Alex Harrington. So he has OPS over 1,000. And then Grady Emerson also had a good spring, an 822 OPS. So those two will get the starting jobs at second and third. Aiden Harris had a rough spring, but I still trust his bat in the long term. He'll get the start at DH, but we're going to have some other guys move in and get some at-bats there. So Jaden Stroman did have a rough spring, but his glove is really good in the infield, and he's our backup infielder. Going to be playing every fifth game at second, every sixth at third, every fourth at DH, and then Carter Smith had an abysmal spring, but I got him some time in left field. So he's going to back up the corners whenever they need time, and then Acuna is playing DH every fifth game, so Carter Smith will slide in and left field every fifth game, kind of by default there. So lineup go Correa, Kira, Rushman, Acuna, Molinex, Harris, Emerson, Arroyo, Harrington. So a really good. We have a ton of switch hitters in this lineup. We have 1, 2, 3 guys that can switch hit. We have one lefty, and then the rest are righties. So good balance in the lineup, and I'm really happy with how this came together here. So let's do it. Opening day, we'll have Marquez on the mound against San Fran, and Jaime Melendez, old friend of ours, who signed there in the offseason, and we win 7-5. Emerson drove in 2, Correa drove in 2, Kira, Rushman, Acuna all drove in a run. Marquez threw 97 pitches. Interesting. I hope that'd be cool if they start deploying these guys, get a little bit longer in these games. But yeah, that's the most pitches he's thrown by far. Usually it's like around like 75. But yeah, we rough up Melendez. They signed him to a pretty affordable contract, actually, about 63 million over 4 years. Pretty affordable. If I knew it was that price, I probably would have gotten in on him. But yeah, Blanco not great, but Charles gets the save, and we win opening day. So game 2, Hackenberg will be on the mound after a really good season. We lose 5-2. Kira drives in both of our runs. Looks like Emerson had 2 more hits in this one, and Hackenberg not a great start, but 3 home runs kind of killed him there. And then Simpson good in relief, and Lopez also good. Could not get to Bjorn Johnson here. Again, another guy straight from high A to the majors. Very interesting. So we'll look to win the series here against San Fran with Lodolo on the mound. Hoping to bounce back after a rough season last year. And we will generate some predictions. I should go off the preseason predictions too, but yeah, we win 11-3. Correa 3 hits, Rushman 3 hits, Molinex drives in 3 runs, Arroyo 2 hits, 2 RBIs. So he gives a Kira home run, Molinex, and Rushman. Lodolo a pretty solid start in his first on the year, and then Chivilli and Marquez close it out. So we win the first series of the year, and we'll hopefully take that momentum into the rest of the season. This is one of the best teams I think we've assembled here. I guess I can't view the preseason predictions anymore. Oops. I think it might be in reports. If I find it, next league history. Probably missing it. Oh, I thought there was a way to... Oh, here we go. Preseason predictions. Cool. So yeah, the Mets in the East. White Sox in the... What is it? Central. I thought I changed that to North. Whatever. Central. You can see the top pitchers there. Any names we kind of recognize here? Jordan's still kicking it in Philly. Tatis is in Minnesota now. Interesting. Yeah, I don't really recognize any of these names. Ooh, who's this? Nice. That's a heck of an arm. Ooh, he's a free agent after the year, too. That's interesting. Got to look at, for sure. And then in the South, Nashville is expected to dominate the division, despite not hitting a ton of home runs and getting a lot of steals. Good pitcher ERA. Looks like the best in our league. Top pitchers. Let's see. We have Acuna. That's good to see after we traded a good amount for him, or at least took on a lot of his contract. And then Gage Workman, one of our old friends. Mila Marquez, top pitcher here, and that's it for Nashville. So, yeah, we'll wrap up the episode here. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Probably at the start of June or something. All right, peace.